Hey everybody, happy Wednesday and welcome to More Than Money. My name is Stephen Balance, and as you see, um, I'm all alone today. Mark and Tim are not in the office, so I'll be the one speaking to you today. So, good luck with that. So, today, with Mark not here and Tim not here, we're going to be talking about an entirely different subject. See, with Mark here, we can talk about your finances. We went over stewardship. We went over the acquiring of money and just different aspects of stewardship, which he's pretty good at, if I do say. So he also talked to you a little bit about investments. I know that is very near and dear to his heart with the BRI movement, the Biblical Responsible Investing. But today, it's going to be a little different. We're going to be talking about something that's a little near and dear to my heart. So this subject today it's kind of gotten a bad rap in the past. There's a lot of things about it that people do and don't like, but I also know many people that consider it a lifesaver, including myself and my family. Now, what's that subject, you may ask? It's life insurance. I know, kind of a letdown, right? Well, I think that's because it's gotten a bad rap in the past. The thing is, life insurance is a very good thing. I'm sure you've all heard the stories about the insurance guy chasing the ambulance, and he doesn't wait till he catches up to it because he knows there's money there, or the guy who comes to your house and he puts his foot in the door and he won't go until he gets a sale. That's not what we want to do. Remember, this is more than money. We want to take everything that we do, everything financial, and give it a biblical perspective. That is our goal. The thing is, life insurance is just one piece of the life puzzle. You got your finances and your hobbies, your investment, your retirement, and a lot of people think that life insurance isn't that big a thing, but it is, and it doesn't just come into play at the end of your life. We'll talk about a little more about that in a little bit. But before we do that, I'd actually like to backtrack a bunch. Most of us consider life insurance to be more of a recent thing. And, the way that we've institutionalized it, yeah, okay, it's kind of that way. It's more of a recent concept to us. But what if I told you that the idea of life insurance, the concepts behind it, of taking care of those who have lost fathers and mothers, those who have lost husbands and wives, what if I told you that concept of taking care of those people goes back hundreds, if not thousands of years to, who would have guessed, biblical times? That seems to be where everything starts. God always has everything planned out ahead of time. Let me share a couple verses with you that might give you an idea. Psalm 146:9. The Lord protects the strangers. He supports the fatherless and the widow. Or maybe even New Testament, James 1:27. This is pure and undefiled religion in the sight of God, our Father, to visit orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself unstained by the world. See, before the direct, institution of life insurance, there wasn't a lot of help for those who had lost people. I think the average lifespan of people in biblical times was between 30 and 50. They didn't really live that long. And once the husband or the breadwinner was gone, they didn't really have a way to take care of the widows and the orphans. There just wasn't a working way for them to survive. But in those times, in all the Bible, we notice that God takes care of his people. God, in his mind, he's the one who starts the kind of the idea of godly life insurance by wanting his people, the Jews, to start taking care of those who have lost others. So let's move forward in time a little bit to New Testament times. Even during the beginning of the church, after Jesus came down to earth, he died, He rose again. He told his disciples to, go and make disciples and start the mission, spread the gospel. The idea of taking care of others who have lost people was a very big thing for even New Testament times. Say, Emperor Julian, around 360 AD, he wrote a letter to Arsacius, I believe that's how it's pronounced. He is the high priest of Galatia, who wrote that these Galileans, talking about the church people, the Galileans, the ones who actually started the church, they took care of their own poor as well as the poor of the Greeks and the Romans, the people they didn't even have to. But that's what they did. They supported those who had lost fathers and mothers and those who had lost even children. They were the ones to support them. So, to me, this kind of brings up a thought. As far as insurance goes, this is more than money. We do everything financial from a biblical perspective. So is life insurance biblical? I think it's a good question. I'm not going to answer that quite yet for you. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. But I do want to ask you three questions, and really consider these three questions, because they will help you gauge maybe a little bit about your own life, maybe a little bit about if you should take care of friends and family. So just give these a little bit of thought. Question one: if something were to happen to you and you were to die, what happens to your family? Do your bills get paid? Is your wife or your husband still going to live in the same house? Are your kids going to be fed for more than a year? I know it's a lot of questions packed into one. So, question two: if something were to happen to one of your family members, say a father, a mother, a grandparent, and they die, what happens to you? Are you going to be taken care of? Or are you going to be okay? And the last question, I think this is a very important thing. If there was a way to relieve some of that burden, some of the burden by stress and finances, would you want to know about it? Those are very good things to consider. I honestly think about that a lot, because that's what happened with my family. Years ago, my dad passed away, and honestly, we would not have been okay without his life insurance. We would have found a way. God always provides a way. But I don't think we would have been as okay as we were. So the reason I ask those questions is I'm under the assumption that you have someone in your family that you want to make sure is taken care of if something were to happen to you. I'm kind of under the assumption that you wouldn't want them to deal with all your bills, and you wouldn't want them to deal with, your credit card debt and, how many candy bars you racked up on it and stuff. That's me. And I'm under the assumption that if something were to happen to you or any member of your family, you'd want to make sure that all that financial stress that comes with it, you don't have to deal with, or you don't have to suffer. You don't have to find the money somewhere to make sure that the one that you love is buried. Nobody wants that. So that's the idea, though, it's the idea of taking care of those who are around you. The idea that when you're gone and your family has to eventually move on without you, you don't want to burden them with the things that you leave behind. You want them to just get by as best as they can, but you want to leave them something that will help them in the future. Let me ask you this. That concept, the helping people, does that sound familiar? Sound biblical at all to you? God setting up his people to take care of those who have lost others? God setting up a system, the church even setting up a system to take care of the poor, those widows and orphans? Does that sound familiar a little bit? I think that we've standardized life insurance just a tad, but it sounds pretty biblical to me. So the whole reason that I bring this up is we're more than money. Our goal is to provide you, again, everything financial from a biblical perspective. And this is the kind of stuff that you'll end up thinking about when, friends and family are gone. You don't want to think about it, but it is there. So that's why life insurance is such a big piece of the pie. You've got your house, you've got your car, your investments, your retirement, and all that stuff you think about every day. I think about how much I'm saving and if I can make my bills that month, and all that little financial stuff I think about every single day. But I try really hard to not think about the end, the stuff that happens at the very end of life. And again, life insurance is built as a protection against that. It might not protect you because, unfortunately, 100% of people die. It's a very rough statistic. I only know of 2 people in the entire Bible that did not die. They were taken straight to heaven, and I know that I'm not one of them. So I know that the inevitable is out there somewhere, though I do pray sometimes that God will just take me up there and I'll be good. But I know that's a lot to consider. That's a lot of down, gray rain and clouds and everything's gloomy. Let me see if I can give you a little bit of peace out of all that. A little bit of calm, we'll say. When you die, because unfortunately it will happen, you can be with Jesus in heaven. That's the bonus, I think. God sent his son to come down, to die on the cross, to rise again 3 days later, and to create this whole new life for us. And just like life insurance doesn't necessarily start when you die, this new life with Jesus doesn't only start when you die. It's a bonus. It definitely is. You get to go to heaven, and if you've accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior, you're in heaven, and it's great. But your new life starts when you get saved, and there's something in you that gives you that experience that you have this whole new life. So wouldn't you want to live that in a way that would support your family when you're gone? They're going to miss you, of course, but wouldn't you want to ease that burden just a little bit? I at least know that I would. It would give me some peace. So that brings me back to my question. Is life insurance biblical? Again, I can't give you a definite yes or no. I'm not God, and that's really between you and God. However, there are many places in the Bible that talk about God taking care of his people, God taking care of those without fathers and those without moms and dads. That is just God's way. He takes care of everyone no matter what, but I think he has a special place in his heart for those who have lost someone, because he knows what it feels like. So, considering life insurance, I know it's not a one product solves all thing, but again, it is a big piece of the pie, because it kind of extends to even after you pass away, and it extends to your friends and your family and those you get to take care of. So, we're getting a little close at the end of our time, so I have a couple things that I want you to keep in mind. Again, same as the last questions. Just kind of give them a little bit of consideration. Really ask God to open your heart and see what your thoughts are. See what he moves in you. First question, I'm sorry, not even a question. First statement, I want to say, this is not a sales pitch. I'm not trying to scare you into buying something that you're going to regret later. That's not the point of this. Our goal here at More Than Money, my goal today, is to help you search in your heart as to what God wants you to do, and see if there is a way for you to, not only take care of your family now and experience that life that God can give you, but also take care of your family after the inevitable, and take care of them, afterwards, and have them experience the movement of God in your heart to provide that for them. My second thought is just a little bit of education out there. Life insurance prices have gone down drastically over the last 10, 20 years. I've actually talked to friends of mine that, I'll ask them, hey, how much do you think it would be for this? Or how much do you think it would be for that? And the numbers that they give, I don't know where they get them. I'm sure they don't know where they get them. But they're usually on the really high side. It's a lot cheaper than you would think. And there is a peace that comes knowing that you're protected. That not only you're protected, but if something were to happen to you, your friends and family, they would be somewhat okay. Obviously, they're not going to be okay because you're not there. But you could help them ease their burden. My third thought, and I think this is probably one of the most important, you are unique. Your situation, your life is unique. And you're always going to be unique to God. You're not a number, you're not a product, you're not a barcode. You have value, and so do all the people around you. And because of this value, we want to help. We want to help not only with your value now while you're here, but your value later. So I'll throw this out there. If you ever need to talk, if you have questions, concerns, comments about any of this, about life insurance, give us a call. Our number, 314-212-1403. We'd be more than happy to talk to you, give you a little bit of insight. It's completely complimentary. We're not going to charge you an arm and a leg just for a couple of questions and opinions. We want to help. We want to make sure that you have that peace in your life that, in our opinion, only God can offer. But we want to know that you have that same peace in your life, knowing that your friends and family are taken care of. Again, there's no cost to you. We are here to help. So that's about all the time we have today. I hope this discussion was helpful. I hope that it planted some thoughts and maybe cleared up some misconceptions that you may have. We thank you for joining us today. We're excited to bring you new content every week. This is a whole new platform for us, and we're excited to really utilize this. We want to partner with you in your life and in everything. Not just the life insurance or on Mark's side, the investments. We want to partner with you, and we get the blessing every day of coming in and being able to pray for you guys and pray for our audience and our clients, and that is a big benefit to us. So I ask you, if you get a chance, look us up. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Tumblr, Instagram. We even just started a YouTube page. That's kind of exciting. So give us a look. Give us, any questions, comments. We're always looking to improve. We want to provide the very best content for you guys. So please, we would love to hear from you. So I hope this has been a blessing for you. And I hope that has helped you realize that life is so much more than money. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.